This region of Europe has its own culture, language, and identity. Spanning 7,000 square kilometres across North Spain and southwestern France, and parts of the Pyrenees and the Bay of Biscay, it's home to over 3 million people. To start to understand the Basques, you have to first understand their history.
Basque people have been here for thousands of years, long before Spain or France even existed. The Romans arrived in the 1st century BC, but while they conquered most of Spain and Portugal, the Basques resisted full Romanization. Then came the Visigoths, then the Moors. But despite all of this, the Basques remained independent and proudly Basque. In the Middle Ages, the Kingdom of Navarre united much of the Basque region. But by the 1500s, most of the region was part of Spain, apart from northern Navarre, which joined France and is still part of that country today. For centuries, the Basques kept their own laws, until the 1800s, when Spain tried to strip them of their autonomy. This sparked the rise of Basque nationalism and resistance towards Castile. Furthermore, in the 20th century, the dictator Franco banned the use of Basque language and culture, which fueled Basque nationalism even more. This led to decades of resistance and even a violent extremist group called the ETA forming. But today, the Basque Country has its own autonomy and its own government. While it is still a part of Spain, the Basque identity remains very strong. But do Basque people want to remain part of Spain, or do they want to be their own country? That's what I'm going to find out in this video. It's day number 1 in Bilbao and day number 1 in Basque Country, really. We are just about to head out to see the city and to learn a little bit more about its culture and history. We're walking around the Casco Viejo now. One of the first things I wanted to highlight about Basque language is you do see it in a lot of places. I think you see it more than you see Catalan in Barcelona and Catalonia. So here you can see Calle Banco España, but it says Calea underneath. And then also that sign that says B, that is in Basque first and then Spanish underneath. So today Basque language is spoken a lot throughout the Basque Country, but it wasn't always this way. Around 50 years ago, when Franco was in power, we're pretty sure that people in the Basque Country were banned from speaking the language, and it was nowhere near as widely used as it is now. I'm sure people still spoke it like in secret. It wasn't able to be as open as it is now because Spanish was just imposed on everyone. Yeah, like if you're here, this is all in Basque. So it's very, very much spoken. It's not a disused language at all. This is the Basque flag, and you'll see it flying quite a lot throughout the Basque Country, much more so than you'll see the Spanish flag. The red represents the Biscayan people, so historically red always represented the Biscay province. The green represents the oak of Guernica, which is a famous Basque tree not too far from here, and the white cross represents the devotion to God. This flag actually dates back to 1894, and it was the flag for the province of Biscay, which was one of the 7 Basque provinces. But it was adopted as the flag of the Basque Autonomous Region in 1938. However, like the language, it was barred under Franco's regime. And here are some of the traditional symbols from the Basque Country. So this is a Basque flower up here. And this here is a Basque symbol that reflects the 4 cities of the Basque Country. And you can see some of the jewellery's actually been made with the symbol on, like here, and this here. And then you've also got some jewellery with the Basque flower on as well, called the flower of Basque Country, or in Basque it's called Euskal Herriko Lorea. We've just finished our walking tour with Sara, and we finished in the Casco Viejo. Sara is just going to tell us a little bit about Basque culture and why it's so important, and I think she's going to speak some Basque to us as well.
Kaixo, nire izena Sara da, eta egon gara tour bat egiten haiekin Bilbotik, eta ikusten Bilbon zeuden gauzak, eta hitz egiten pizkatxo bat Euskaran, eta ikusten hiria.
So could you tell us more about the Basque language?
The Basque language is a little bit difficult because it's not similar to other languages, but I can say some words in Basque. For example, hello, that is kaixo. Thank you, that is eskerrik asko. Bye, that is agur.
Do you speak Basque as a first language?
Yes.
Yeah, and so people in Bilbao, they speak Basque when they're children?
Yes, I speak Basque since I was outside, and I think that in Basque Country, every people speak Basque, more or less.
What's the best Basque food to eat
To eat,
in Bilbao?
me, I like a lot candies. So for me, the best food is like Carolina. That is a candy of chocolate. But every food is delicious.
Amazing. And the Basques have their own government.
The Basque government, but yes, it's very good. The Basque government, there are different politicians, and they do their work good, and we had a good relation.
Cool, amazing. Cool.
Thank you. How do I say it again? How do I say thank you again?
Eskerrik asko.
Eskerrik asko.
Bai.
Eskerrik asko.
Euskadi.
Eskerrik asko. I have a lot more Basque history and culture to share, but we are getting hungry. So I think it's lunchtime, and I think this might be a food market with some typical Basque food. Because of its position on the sea, it's unsurprising that a lot of Basque food is seafood, which I don't personally eat, but Rich does. So he's looking forward to trying some of that. They also have pinchos, which are small little snacks. They're mainly served on bread, very small, and you usually don't have them for a meal. You usually have them just as a little snack before going for your meal. So we might get some of them now, but let's go and see what there is. Is this the right place? Yeah, it looks like a train station, but I feel like oh no, it is right. Oh, cool. Mercado de la Ribera. This is Spanish. You can't smell through the camera, but it smells very fishy in here. There we go. So these are pinchos.
What is this called?
These are Carolinas. Yeah, these are famous Basque desserts. Apparently they're very popular.
This is the cheesecake, the famous
Okay.
Basque cheesecake.
And this is Basque cheesecake, which you wanted to try, didn't you, Rich? And they've all got little Basque flags in them. So, very proud.
What are we going to get?
Hola. Eso con queso cabrales. ¿Son vegetarianos? ¿Cómo?
Queso cabrales.
Sí, son vegetarianos, sin carne, ¿sí? Sí, ok, 3, por favor. Gracias. Y
Uno bacalao.
una bacalao. Y también una tortilla con pimiento. ¿Podemos tener patatas bravas? Patatas bravas, sí. Ah, sí. So I asked for patatas bravas, which obviously is not from this region of Spain, but don't really think these are patatas bravas. But they do look quite good, to be fair. And then over here we have the plate of pinchos. So the vegetarian options, these are goat's cheese, so breaded goat's cheese, and this is like a Spanish tortilla basically on a piece of bread. And this is I'll have that if that's all right. It is all very beige. I'm not going to lie, this isn't really my preferred cuisine, but we'll appreciate food culture while we're here. Richard, could you explain what you've got to drink?
Yeah, it's cerveza, but it's called a Zorrito, and it's supposed to be 120 mils. It's like a shot of beer, basically, or 2 shots of beer. But this looks like a lot more. It was a lot higher when it started as well. But I paid for a Zorrito, and it's kind of served in a wine glass by the looks of it. But it looks bigger than 120 mils.
And is that typical of Basque Country?
Apparently, I've never seen it anywhere else before in Spain, so I think so.
Cheers. So we've got breaded cheese on bread.
Okay, little Basque flag.
Despite them not being patatas bravas, we actually smashed through those. Eaten most of the pinchos, although I don't really understand the bread. The bread feels a little bit unnecessary, I'm not gonna lie. If anyone knows why everything's served on bread, then please do drop me a comment. I think that's a governmental building. I don't know if you can see here, but the Spanish and Basque flags both flying here. Alright, let's go down to the river. We're going to head to the Guggenheim. This is the famous Athletic Bilbao boat. Oh, look, Rich. It's called Bilbao. Love a good play on words. Bilbao Atletico Football Club is quite interesting as well, because you have to be Basque or at least have some degree of Basque heritage to play in their team. Another little semblance of Basque pride.
Right, I think this one's just a sightseeing boat, but they do celebrate their cup victories on a boat in the Bay of Biscay.
Everyone goes to the Guggenheim, but few people go to this statue of Ramon Rubial Cavia. And he was actually a really important person in terms of the Basque government. Ramon Rubial Cavia was first a member of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party. During the Spanish Civil War, he defended the Second Spanish Republic. He was actually imprisoned for 15 years. But when he was released, he started working underground to help the forces trying to get recognition for Basque autonomy. After Franco was defeated in 1978, he was president for the General Basque Council, which was preparing to get the Basque Country ready for the return to autonomous government. So, a really important figure, and he's literally just behind the Guggenheim, which we're going to talk about in a moment. And here is the Guggenheim, which is not arguably, definitely, the most famous thing about Bilbao. So the Guggenheim branches are in New York, Abu Dhabi, Venice and Italy. And this one here started to be built in 1993 and it opened its doors in 1997. Before it was built, Bilbao was not a touristy city whatsoever. Its main industries were fishing, shipbuilding, metalworks, but all of this area was quite abandoned and in need of quite a lot of modernisation. The city council really wanted to give Bilbao a facelift and they saw the Guggenheim as a really good opportunity. They heard that the Guggenheim was wanting to expand in Europe, and at the time, this was before the Venice one opened, they were having some difficulties with the launch of the Venice Museum. So Bilbao got in contact and proposed an idea. I'm guessing they probably proposed the building and they proposed some ideas for the collections, and the Guggenheim really liked their ideas and also really liked their commitment to the whole process. So the Guggenheim said yes, they will open a museum in Bilbao. But apparently when they first came here, they were wondering what they were doing because it was a city that not many people had heard about, and like I say, it was in need of quite a lot of modernisation. But the Guggenheim did that. The Guggenheim really revitalised Bilbao, both in this area, but it had knock-on effects to the whole city. It really increased tourism and in so doing increased the general capita of the city. And this actually has a term. It's called the Bilbao effect. So when things are revitalised thanks to culture or art, it's often said that that has been because of the Bilbao effect. What is also quite interesting, however, is that the Basque Country is one of the wealthiest areas of Spain. This isn't mainly to do with tourism, as outside of Bilbao and a few other areas, it's not hugely touristy, but it is largely due to its coastline and the industries that that brings, such as trade, shipbuilding, fishing and transportation. But nowadays, Bilbao definitely relies on the Guggenheim as a big part of its economy. Now, I am not an art museum person, unfortunately. I will go and have a little look around one if it's free, but it is €12 to go in the Guggenheim. And while I'm sure for many people that will be well worth it, I would personally rather spend my money elsewhere. But it's very cool to see from the outside nonetheless. So Bilbao isn't right on the sea, it is a few miles from the coastline. You can get there by metro, which then becomes an overground line, which takes about 20 minutes. And there is a port of Bilbao as well. So it's not a coastal city, but it's kind of a coastal city. It has coastal areas. We're walking back to the hotel now, but tomorrow we're going to be going even deeper into Basque culture, politics and history, because we're going to visit the capital. Bilbao, while it is the largest city in the Basque Country, is not the capital. So I'll sign up for today and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning from a slightly chilly Bilbao. It is only 4 degrees, although it is meant to get to about 15 here today. It's going to be a bit colder where we're heading though. We're going inland to the city of Vitoria-Gasteiz. Now, I'll be honest, before we started looking into the Basque Country, I'd never heard of this city. But it is the capital of the Basque Country. It is where the Basque Parliament and the Basque kind of rules, laws, regulations are all dictated. So we're just walking to the bus station now. Some more Basque words here. So as you can see, it is completely different to Spanish. So aseos is Spanish for toilets, and in Basque it's Komunek. We've arrived in Vitoria-Gasteiz and it's a bit chilly here. So we're at 525 metres of altitude. Obviously Bilbao is at sea level basically, so the weather can change. Highs of 9, but it feels a lot colder. And it's misty as well. We've kind of gone up to the clouds. So yeah, the bus station is actually about a half-hour walk to the city centre, so we're just walking now, hopefully pick up some coffee en route and find our guide. Oat milk cappuccino has been secured and we're now in the city centre of Vitoria-Gasteiz. Had you ever heard of the city before you started researching Basque?
No, but I'd heard of the Battle of Vitoria actually.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't realised it was the same place.
What happened in the Battle of Vitoria?
I was in the Peninsular War.
Oh yeah.
Napoleonic Wars. I think the British and the Spanish and the Portuguese beat the French. Somewhere here. Alright, we're off to the Tourist Information Centre to meet a guide who's going to show us around for 4 whole hours. Ah, hi. Oh, hello.
I'm your guide.
Ah, nice to meet you. How old is the city?
Well, it's hard to say because here, before the city that we have, we used to have another city, another town. Okay, this is why the name of the city is Vitoria-Gasteiz.
Oh, okay.
In the 8th century,
Yeah.
we used to have a small village called Gasteiz.
Right, okay.
This village, it was important due to the commerce. We
Yeah.
were going to be working in iron, and people was going to come to Gasteiz to buy these products made in iron. So even though we didn't belong to any kingdom, Gasteiz was important.
Okay.
And it was surrounded with a city wall. But as we were merchants and we weren't warriors, the King of Navarre came in the 12th century to Gasteiz. He conquered this small village and he changed the name and he started building the city of Victoria.
Okay.
And that's why the name of the city, Vitoria-Gasteiz, is not the translation between Spanish and Basque. It's a compound name. Normally people get confused because when we speak we say Vitoria in Spanish and Gasteiz in Basque.
Right.
But we should say Vitoria-Gasteiz in any language that we speak. Vitoria was named the capital of the Basque Country. We decided to recover the ancient name of the village of Gasteiz. And this is why since 45 years now, we are a city with a compound name.
Yeah. Okay. And when was it made the capital?
In 1980s.
1980s. Okay.
Yes.
And why did they pick Vitoria?
Victoria, it was going to be chosen the capital for 2 main reasons. In that period of time, in the Basque Country, we were having this terrorist group, ETA, that was going to be harming all Spain and also the Basque Country. And Álava, the province where we are, as it is located in the southern part, it was less conflictive than Guipúzcoa or Biscay. So they thought that it was a better idea to put here the government because we were going to be having less problems than in the other parts. But also, just because as Vitoria never expanded as they did in Bilbao and San Sebastian, we had plenty of room to build the public buildings that they were needed for having the capitality of the Basque Country.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks to the capitality of 1980s, Vitoria expanded so much on population. Right now we are 258,000 people. But before, we didn't arrive up into 1980s, 190,000 people. So we were very small, but later we started expanding, and right now we are the medium-sized city of the Basque Country.
Okay.
The Basque language was forbidden in Franco's period, when we were on the Civil War of Spain. He decided to forbid the local languages, the Catalan, the Gallego, the Basque. So people that they were going to try to speak Basque, they were going to be murdered, and also they would have to escape from Spain before they get killed.
Oh.
And for example, my parents, they tried to learn Basque, but they couldn't.
They couldn't, yeah.
So I am the first generation of my family who knows Basque.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, my parents, they speak Spanish, so I speak Spanish at home, even though I made all my studies in Basque.
Okay.
But my use of language is to turn to Spanish.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
are there opportunities to speak Basque in the city? Like
Yes,
regularly?
they are, but we don't.
Right.
I could go to a cafe and ask for it in Basque because probably the person who is in front of me, he knows Basque too, but normally we speak in Spanish.
Yeah.
We are trying to change this tradition, and now, for example, I speak Basque to my children at home, so they can see that it's not only for school,
Yeah.
that they can communicate in Basque in other
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, it takes a few generations,
Yes,
doesn't it?
but
to-
it's a long-term
Yeah.
project, no?
Yeah.
And due to the immigration that we are having, so people they learn first Spanish, not Basque, so it's hard to hear people on the capitals, not only Vitoria,
Yeah.
but also in Bilbao and San Sebastian. It's hard to hear people speaking in Basque.
Our last question before we left this area was about this huge monument and the Battle of Vitoria.
Napoleon came to the country in the 1808 just to conquer Portugal. The King of Spain allowed him to cross his territory because he was the enemy of the Portuguese king. But what he didn't know or king, it is that in the meantime Napoleon was going on his way to Portugal, he was going to be leaving small troops all over Spain. So once he conquered Portugal, the troops rose and also conquered Spain. And we started having a war that it was going to be to free us from France. It is said that the most decisive battle happened the 21st of June of 1813 in Vitoria. Okay? From this moment, the French army started losing territory and they were losing battles, and at the end, 2 months later, the war was finished. So it is not a story that we tell the people of Vitoria, but it seems to be real because Beethoven wrote a symphony about what happened in Vitoria in the 19th century. Today, it doesn't have the name of the Battle of Vitoria. Today it has another name, but this symphony, it was compounded due of the last decisive battle that happened downtown. This sculpture is a memory, a resume about what happened that day in the city and also in the surrounding area.
So, Vitoria-Gasteiz was the green capital in 2012, and it is partially because it has maintained its historic layout that it was made like that. This historic layout has enabled the parks and the green spaces in the city to be preserved.
Due to the civilizations that we have downtown, we have two.
So, I noticed this on the ground, which is the sign of the Camino de Santiago. Now, Vitoria isn't on the main Camino. The first Camino went sort of through more towards the borders of Basque and the rest of Spain. There was a war going on there, people were fighting the Moors, so it ended up being that was quite dangerous. They then made another route in the north going along the coast, but there was also issues going on there. So they ended up building this third route that went through here, and this was the more secure route. So nowadays it's not on the main Camino, but it is on a branch of the Camino.
In the middle,
Yeah.
it is a tradition for carnivals,
Okay.
just to avoid the bad spirits.
Yeah. Okay.
They are
cool.
called sampanchars.
Just up here, that pole you see there, that is Vitoria's art museum, and it is like the Guggenheim. It is a large art museum, but it is just for Basque art, unlike the Guggenheim.
We turned the corner and found the main food street of the city.
The food that they serve is traditional Basque food.
Okay, yeah.
So right now, just because it is 11:30, it's quite quiet. But at noon,
Yeah.
5:30 or so, it will be full.
That's
of
when it's
people.
busy. What is the most traditional Basque food?
Well, here we eat so much of pottery. Green beans, potato with chorizo, leeks, for example. It's warm food
Yeah.
because the Basque Country is
Yeah,
so cold.
yeah.
Also, the meat is very good.
Yeah.
The sticks, the beef stick, and also the lamb chops. They are very popular, especially from the southern part of Álava, and also fish.
Yeah.
The cod, the hake, they are very traditional meals in the
Yeah.
Basque Country.
Are there any traditional vegetarian dishes?
Well, the vegetarian dishes traditional, I would say that it is the green beans with
Yeah.
potato, for example.
Yeah.
In the Basque Country, we use so much potato.
Okay.
And here in Álava, especially, we are potato producers. We have more than 7 different brands of potato, being cultivated in Álava.
Okay.
So potatoes are everywhere.
Yeah.
If you go to the coast, you will be having marmitaco, which is potato with tuna. As I've told you, we have the red beans with potato.
Yeah.
Potatoes with chorizo. Potatoes with green beans. So potatoes is everywhere.
Potatoes with everything. Hola. Oh, nice.
Right now we have an exhibition of Charles V, Emperor of Germany, first of Spain. But, this is the tower of the 13th century, and this is the decoration of the 15th century that was made inside the tower. We have preserved this tower on time because in the 17th century they decided to put a blind wall. We forgot that we had a tower inside the house until 1960s.
Oh.
When the Bank of Vitoria bought the building, they throw out this blind wall and they found out the tower inside the house. So I hope that you like it because this is one of my favorite
really
spots in Vitoria.
Yeah. Can I ask why it says Vitoria, capital del mundo?
Because in the 16th century, when Charles V, Emperor of Germany, became the first king, the Carlos I of Spain, he took the place of Fernando the Catholic. Vitoria was one of the most favorite cities for him.
Yeah.
As I've told you, he stayed twice in Montehermoso Palace, and he liked the city so much. So last year we celebrated the anniversary of the entrance of the king here in Vitoria.
Okay. So it was a very important city
It was a very
during
important
that time.
city in the 16th century, and that's
Yeah.
why in the 16th century the upper part of the hill was fulfilled with palaces of that period of time.
Okay. So in sort of the 16th century, 16th, 17th, 18th, how strong was the Basque identity then?
Well, the Basque identity always has been very strong. Okay, never we have lost the idea that the roots, it is the most important thing that we have. We are very proud that we have one of the most oldest languages of Europe, that it's still alive. And this is making us different from the rest part of Spain. So always we have been fighting to preserve this identity. In the Middle Age, for example, the kings, they were going to be supporting us to be different from the rest part of Spain. It was in a common sense. We are nearby the borderline of France, so to support people to come and live into the Basque Country, they were going to be giving us rights that other parts of Spain they didn't have. For example, if you are going to Castile, you don't need to pay the entrance fee because you are Basque. If you are staying in the Basque Country, you are going to be having some products that they come from the sea that they are going to be free and you don't need to pay for them. And with these rights, people from the rest part of Spain, they could come here to fight and defend the territory of the king. Those rights, we have preserved them always.
Okay.
One king died and another king was on the throne and was going to be coming to Vitoria, for example, he had to promise to preserve the rights and the identity that we had. Otherwise, the city wall was not going to be open for them.
Okay.
They were going to be staying out. So it was a way that to assure that even though the king has died, the next king was going to be supporting the identity and the rights that we had. Okay. These rights, we had them until the 19th century, when we have the Carlistas War, that it was very important in Spain. Those rights, they disappear for 100 years, more or less. But Basque people always we have been fighting to recover them. And once the democracy came back, we have recovered those rights with a modern term. But for example, we don't need to pay taxes to Madrid. We pay them to the Diputación, to the province government, and we use the taxes for us. We don't share them with the rest part of Spain.
Oh, okay.
This is something that we have had during all the history, and right now Basque people, we don't want to take it out.
Yeah, of course.
Like the Basque communities, the Basque history predates Spain, predates?
Yes, always we have had different history until Spain as a country was going to be formed. The Catholic king and queen, they were going to be taking care of us, more charming or more cautiously, just because we were the ones who was going to be defending the territory against France and from the sea, for example. So even though we were part of Spain, we were having some differences that the other part of Spain they didn't have.
What does it mean to be Basque? What is the most important part of your culture or history?
Well, to be Basque is to be proud of the identity and the roots that we have behind us. We are a community that we are older than the Roman period, so to preserve our life, to preserve our use of culture or habitude, it is the most important thing for a Basque person.
This is the Basque Parliament. So this is the building where Basque legislation is made, where Basque political matters are discussed. All happens right here. We've heard a little bit about the history of Basque and how historically it's been an autonomous region of Spain really since the Middle Ages. So what does Basque identity look like today? Honestly, walking around the Basque Country, it seems that while people are very proud of their identity and very proud of their heritage, they aren't necessarily calling for Basque independence. They seem to be quite happy with the amount of autonomy that they have in Spain and like the fact that it's part of the European Union, etc. And this contrasts quite a lot to Catalonia, I believe. So when I was in Barcelona last year, I was actually there on Catalan National Day accidentally, and a lot of people in Barcelona seem to be very much calling for an independent Catalan, and I think that is partially because they want the autonomy, the level of autonomy that the Basque Country has. Do very much respect people who want their own identity and do definitely support the preservation of individual cultures and histories all around the world. It's the following day. We are leaving Bilbao in a couple of hours, but we've just come here to what I believe is the Museum of Basque Nationalism. Is it the right place?
I think so. I think
Yeah?
it might be the headquarters of the Basque Nationalist Party as well.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I don't know if you picked up what Rich just said, but it might also be the headquarters of the Basque Nationalist Party.
Not 100% sure.
Is that what this says? Partido, oh yeah, Partido Nacional
Yeah, absolutely.
in Spanish, and then
Party of Basque.
it will say it in Basque.
Ah, that's what that means.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
You may have to go through security to get in.
El museo es abierto?
Sí, gracias. Nice Spanish, babe. Alright, we're in. There's no mujeres on the door. Emakumiak is the only one you have. So, this is the Museum of Basque Nationalism, and it is also home of the Basque National Party. This is very much an official building. We've been given these passes to wear as we walk around, but they seem very happy that we're here and learning more about Basque culture. This exhibition is about Basque Paralympians. So Euskadi is Basque in Basque.
I think so. And I guess these are the Basque regions.
Yeah.
Araba,
Do you know which one
Vizcaya,
we're in now?
Euskara. No, I'm not sure actually. Laberde, Navarra, and where? So this is the tree, the Basque tree. It might have a better name than that. But the tree is in Guernica, which is like an hour's drive from here. And Guernica was traditionally like the sort of meeting place of Basque communities and leaders and politicians, rulers, and they'd make their laws or hold courts by the tree. The tree's still there apparently, but during the Spanish Civil War, Franco and the Germans tried to basically destroy Guernica and targeted the whole town and razed it to the ground. And I think that was probably, obviously, partly motivated by an attempt to stamp out Basque nationalism during the Civil War.
Rich's historical knowledge is incredible, so if you want to hear more of that, then do give his channel a watch. I will link it in the description. So this is a map of the Basque Country here. A very nice map. And we've got the 4 cities of the Basque Country. We've got Bilbao, where we are now, Vitoria-Gasteiz, which is where we went yesterday, Donostia. Donostia is San Sebastian, but Donostia is the Basque name. And this is Iruna, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, and that is actually Pamplona, where La Tomatina takes place. And then you do have I guess this kind of represents the Basque provinces in France. And we are going to go to a French Basque province tomorrow, so more on that to come. Everybody that I've spoke to so far has seemed relatively content with the Basque Country's position in Spain. But the fact that there is a Basque nationalist party suggests that there are people who think otherwise. Whether we'll get the chance to speak to any of them, I don't know. Oh look, there's a brochure from Old Witch Theatre. Presents for the first time in this country the Basque music and dance spectacle Eresonica. When was this? Can't see. There's no date on it. Number 5. What does it say, number 5? Oh no, it doesn't say, just programme of the group Eresonica and Old Witch Theatre. And these are all posters. That's the same dance group actually. All posters related to Basque. A healthy nation is as unconscious of its nationality as a healthy man is of the health of his bones. But if you break the nationality of a nation, it will think of no other thing than recomponela, restoring it, I believe. And some more books and Basque lottery here, or is that Basque bingo? Some games. And this is all about Basque in the EU, which is interesting because something we heard was that Basque very much want to stay part of the EU. Could an independent Basque be part of the EU? Surely it could.
Well, that's what they
That's
want,
a big, yeah. That's a big call for.
Same as Scotland.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a big reason for Scottish independence, isn't it? Yeah, here you've got the Basque flag with the coat of arms, and then I presume these are all the flags of the Basque provinces, and then at the end there's an EU flag, but there's no Spanish flag. Okay, gracias. I said the wrong one. Euskara. I'll search this guy. There we go. Okay. Okay, Euskara. You know, I said the museum's not on Google Maps. Obviously, is it the
it just comes up
as the National Party headquarters? Yeah. Cool, right. It is interesting how just a few steps down the road there is a massive Spanish flag. Like, this is the biggest Spanish flag I think I've ever seen. And what's this? Comandancia de Marina. Is that something to do with the Navy? Marine Commander. Ah.
The headquarters of the Spanish Navy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Interesting.
Something official anyway.
So you can see the Spanish flag here, and then you can see the Basque flag over there. I don't know if that's purposeful or not. It might just be a coincidence. Anyway, I am merely a reporter on this. I do always tend to support the people who have a unique identity and a unique culture, but I am not Spanish or Basque, so I can't really form an opinion on either. We're heading up the coast a little bit now towards the French border, and tomorrow we are going to cross over into France and see what Basque identity is like there. It is the next day. We spent a night in San Sebastian and now we are taking the train to France. So there's a small local train that you can take just across the border to Hendaye, which is in French Basque Country. Oh, I think we went the other way, don't we? Yeah. Right, back down the steps we go. So we're in the Spanish seaside town of Irun at the moment. We are going to come back here a bit later on, but we are crossing over the river and then we're going to be in France. So we're right on the border now. There should be a river and the border just up here. Here we go. So this is Spain. This is France.
Hendaye, lotura Frantziako tren sarearekin. Eta bidaiaren amaiera.
Nous allons. Or allons-y, I think you say. So we're not in Spain anymore. We are in France, but we are still in the Basque Country. So my quest is to see just how different French Basque Country is to Spanish Basque Country. So this is the metro line that ends here, but we reckon from this train station you can take a train maybe to Paris. Oh yeah, first train, 9:34, is going to Paris, Montparnasse. And yeah, the Renfe has been replaced by SNCF. I've only been in France for about 8 minutes, but I can't see any Basque flags, I'll tell you that. This all looks very French, doesn't it? Very Basque.
It does look very French.
Oh, although you can get Basque ghetto, yeah. Casa Jose. That doesn't sound French. What have we got here?
Your back shows, your hot plates. There you got your entrecote steak. Confit de canard, that's duck. Confit.
Duck, yeah.
Poulet frites, chicken and chips. Chippirones, and that's a type of sausage. And there you go. Plates are accompanied by chips and green vegetables.
You put in that GCSE French to get good use. Oh look! Oh, that's interesting. You've still got the symbol of the Basque Country,
yeah.
but we're in France. So these are the 4 Spanish Basque cities that they're meant to represent, isn't it?
That's the Basque flower, isn't it?
No, this is the Basque symbol.
The Basque symbol.
Yeah, and it's meant to represent Bilbao, Donostia, Pamplona, sorry, I can't remember the Basque name, and Vitoria-Gasteiz. Yeah.
Huh.
But, obviously,
Yeah.
nous sommes en la France. Où est la ciudad? No, the ciudad is Spanish. What city? Où est la ville? Où est la ville?
Town.
En France. The lighting's not very good, but this is a very nice house, similar to what we've been seeing in Spain. And the Basque, just above the palm trees, you can see it a little bit on my left. There's the Basque symbol there. Border towns are interesting, aren't they? Because they're kind of a mix of languages, and there's a lot of English here as well. I guess people here are very good with languages. Most of them probably know 3 languages, like naturally, just from where they are. But also, I guess, people then do learn English as well. I'm trying to speak a little bit of Spanish, and maybe I'll try a little bit of French as well. My Basque is still a work in progress. But if this was in the Basque Country, then this wouldn't be the border at all. This would be like in the middle of everything, really, which is, yeah, quite interesting. But I remember our guide in Vitoria-Gasteiz did say that it was really the proximity of the Basque Country to France that gave the Basque Country some of its freedoms. So it might not be the Basque Country if it wasn't partly in France. It might still be the Basque Country, but it might not have as much autonomy, and it might not have as much, like, the culture might not have survived as well. But walking around, I'm not seeing anywhere as much Basque as I was seeing in Bilbao. And I'm not 100% sure why that is. I don't know whether that's because people aren't as connected with Basque here. Maybe there's less Basque people in this town in particular. Maybe it's more of a touristy town. Or maybe it's something to do with France, maybe. I don't think the Basque region has as much autonomy in France as it does in Spain. We are hopefully going to meet someone in a moment who should be able to answer all these questions. We met up with Sylvie at the local museum. She speaks French, Basque and Spanish, so I got a chance to practice my Spanish. Hay una identidad fuerte aquí.
Comment?
Pour Basque?
Oui,
Oui.
oui, oui. Nous avons hay la cultura vasca, hay una escuela ikastola donde también se aprende todo en vasco.
Ok,
¿Ya?
sí.
Y
Las escuelas son todo en vasco.
todas no,
Oh, todas,
pero
ok.
hay algunas.
Oh,
Pero
ok.
hay una que se llama la ikastola, que es ikastola, es la escuela vasca que hay en todas las ciudades aquí del País Vasco.
Sí, sí,
También en España.
sí, sí.
¿Ya? Y entonces se hace todo lo que se aprende en vasco.
Sí,
¿Ya? Que
sí.
sean matemáticas, historia, etc.
Ah, entiendo.
¿Ok?
Sí.
Y también hay esas escuelas francesas donde es ikashbi y se aprende en francés y también en vasco. Hacen en vasco matemáticas, historia y geográfica. Y también al nivel de la cultura hay una escuela de pelota vasca. También hay escuela para aprender los bailes vascos, el folclore.
¿Y las personas aquí hablan el idioma basque a la casa?
Algunos, pero no es la mayoría.
Ok, ok.
Además, aquí en Hendaye, como estamos a la frontera con España, entonces la gente habla también, hay muchos españoles
Sí, sí.
¿ya? Que viven aquí en Hendaye.
Sí.
Okay, so habla español,
Sí.
francés
Oui.
y basque.
Oui,
Okay, so
Oui.
tres
Oui.
idiomas.
oui. Bueno,
Impressive.
más francés, español, muchos. Basque, bueno, un poco menos.
Sí, por supuesto.
Okay.
Ouais.
¿Y cuándo empecé a aprender basque en la escuela? Por ejemplo, hace...
Desde pequeños.
Sí, sí.
Sí,
Pero...
desde que empiezan a la escuela a 4 años, pues a partir de 4 años
Sí.
ya aprenden el vasco.
Sí, pero hace 50 años las personas aprendían
Menos,
basque en la escuela.
menos.
Ok, ok.
No era tan en las escuelas francesas, no se aprendía el vasco.
Ok.
Sí.
¿Que la frontera está aquí?
La frontera,
Sí.
Because there's the Basque on one side and Basque
Sí,
on the other.
porque hay basque en España y
oui,
basque en
oui,
la Francia.
nord et sud. Nord
Sí,
y sud,
sí.
norte y sur. Y porque es el río Bidasoa,
Ah, sí.
que es frontera natural
Sí.
entre Francia y España.
Ujú.
Pero así se determinó el territorio.
Sí, ok. Right, we found a sign, and the sign is in French and Basque. So, Passage Zubiatan, I presume that's a name, and Zubiatan Atek. And there's another one over there as well. Let's go and have a little look at what that says. Boulevard du Général de Gaulle. De Gaulle Generala Heribedia. We have found a Basque flag. Hey! So, Rich thinks this is the Hotel de Ville, and you can see here we've got a Basque flag, a French flag, and an EU flag. There is no doubt that the Basque Country is a totally unique region of Europe. While they have their own culture and identity and are very proud of it, in our experience there seemed to be a general contentment about the position of the region in Spain and France. But of course, different people will have very different opinions. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're sticking around, I recommend checking out this video about the ferry journey we took to the north of Spain. See you next time.